Was arrested and taken into custody after an hours-long standoff with law enforcement. Authorities swarmed the neighborhood. I'm speaking with people in the area about how they feel coming up.
A busy day for firefighters across South Texas. Multiple led to deaths of people and or pets, and one ended with people being detained. What we know about each. Plus, get ready to lace up. A look at next weekend's inaugural San Antonio Marathon Series. That's tonight.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm John Paul Barajas. I'm going to be joined here in just a moment by our meteorologist, Shelby Ibertowski. Shelby, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of nice having the studio to myself. How are things feeling outside of the KSAT Garden?
Well, JP, we're outside, like you said, at the KSAT Garden, and it is fairly comfortable. But this is after that cold front came through last night. And so when we don't see the wind, it's comfortable. But when we do see those winds come through, it does get a little chilly. And that's why we're watching that possibility of some wind chills throughout the next few days, especially as we go through the mornings. But take a look at your forecast headlines. The winds have continued to die down, so we're not seeing the 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts that we saw last night into this morning. If we do still see some stronger winds, they will still be about 20 to 25 miles an hour, but that is continuing to die down throughout the next few hours. And what's behind it is morning lows, waking up in the 30s for the hill country, 40s for the rest of us, especially as we get to Tuesday morning. That's going to be the coolest morning we're tracking, where San Antonio is expected to get to 37 degrees, where we're still going to be having that chance of some wind chills. And among all this cooler temperatures, we're still watching that chance of rain. Now, don't worry, I'll come back inside in just a few minutes to give you the full forecast. But for now, reporting comfortable outside in the KSAT Garden, Shelby Ibertowski.
Shelby, thank you. We now know the name of this man who walked out of his home with his hands up. This is 52-year-old Bobby Rocha. He barricaded himself in a home, which led to a 6-hour-long standoff last night. He's being charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and obstruction or retaliation. Dozens of neighbors watched police swarm the property and try and negotiate with Rocha over the loudspeaker. The night team's Ari Oates spoke with those who were there for the tense situation.
It was just kind of like scary.
About 5 o'clock, I walked out of my house. I saw a few police officers.
Janie and Michael are just two of the neighbors who watched San Antonio police and SWAT surround this home on the west side on Saturday. It happened on Cincinnati Avenue near Stonegate Drive. Police initially got a call for an assault happening. When police arrived, the victim got out of the home, but the suspect barricaded himself inside.
You could tell they were all black vehicles, and I figured either a SWAT team or something. I said, oh my God, this is really serious.
After 6 hours of negotiating, a man now identified as Bobby Rocha walked out of the home. Rocha was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and obstruction or retaliation. In the affidavit we obtained, police say that Rocha pointed a brown revolver at his roommate after the roommate accidentally let his animals loose and couldn't find one of them. Neighbors said they were worried, but glad the situation ended without anyone getting hurt.
I just didn't want a Miss Beta situation, mentally ill, and I was just like, I was afraid that might transpire, being that that's the reason it's out there.
It was very interesting to see, the hostage negotiation short van come in. They were using drones.
Bobby, you need to come outside so Yolanda can stop worrying.
I tried to speak with a person outside of the home this situation happened at, but they didn't want to talk.
We have no comment.
Police say they believe Rocha is related to the victim, who initially called police about the assault. Violence Prevention Health Program Manager Erica Lee says family violence specifically does tend to rise during the holidays.
November and December, our crisis response team and our local community partners see an uptick in cases between those months. And right now, it's about a 25% increase already.
If you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, you can scan the QR code on your screen for access to resources. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Now to a busy day for firefighters in South Texas. We start with one near Uvalde, where a house fire killed 2 people early this morning. The fire happened around 1:30 a.m. along County Road 372 east of Uvalde. According to the Uvalde Volunteer Fire Department, 2 people were found inside the home. They were both pronounced dead at the scene. As of tonight, the 2 have not been identified, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. And tonight on the west side of San Antonio, another fire broke out at a home off of San Luis Street in South Zarzamora. San Antonio firefighters say a fire started under a carport and jumped to the roofs of 2 homes. Firefighters have put it out, but they say tonight's windy conditions made it difficult. 8 people were able to get out and 3 dogs were rescued, but at least 1 dog and possibly another did die. The cause of that fire is also still under investigation. Staying in San Antonio, 2 people are in handcuffs after a fire gutted an east side home. The fire was this afternoon off of Delmar Street near Walter Street and I-10. SAFD says 3 people were inside the home on fire and 2 of those people have been detained. Witnesses told SAFD that the 2 were asked to leave and then allegedly began throwing incendiary devices on couches. Luckily, there were no injuries reported. An arson investigation is now underway. A 56-year-old man threatened to kill 4 others who were inside a home with him on the east side. This incident started a little after 1 in the morning on Burleson Street, not far from North New Braunfels Avenue. Police say the man had a knife and threatened to kill the others if they tried to leave. The 4 victims were able to barricade themselves in a bedroom away from that suspect and waited for police to arrive. We are still waiting for more information from SAPD, but do know the 4 people did get out safely. A man was shot this afternoon after allegedly trying to break into someone's car. According to San Antonio police, the suspect was trying to get into a car when the owner of the car saw him and shot him. This happened on Calabria Road near Tezel Road. The suspect then fled the scene in a white pickup, blowing out a tire, and he wasn't done yet. He then tried to steal another car at a nearby gas station. He was eventually caught by police. At this time, the suspect's condition is unknown. And SAPD says the vehicle owner who pulled the trigger is not facing charges right now, but is refusing to cooperate with the investigation. And looking ahead to next weekend, the inaugural San Antonio Marathon is coming up. It's the first big race of its kind since the end of the Rock and Roll Marathon series. The series will start with the 5K through downtown on Friday, December 5th. Then Sunday will be the main event, the marathon and half marathon. Keep an eye on KSAT for registration info, marathon routes, and much more. Have you ever wanted to be a bus driver? Whether that's a yes or no, there just might be something for you at a job fair. The fair hosted by VIA tomorrow will be held at the VIA Metro Center on San Pedro Avenue. They're looking for bus drivers, mechanics, transit security, and more. VIA says prospective bus drivers should be at least 21 years old, have 3 years of driving experience, and have good people skills. The fair runs from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And speaking of VIA, they're offering fare-free rides tomorrow in observance of Rosa Parks Day. Buses will also be shining their headlights throughout the day in honor of Parks' legacy. This goes for all bus, VIA Trans, and VIA Link trips. How we communicate says a lot about ourselves. KSAT's Justin Horn got interested in the way we speak here in South Texas, and he explains how language shapes our culture. That's still ahead. And it's a holiday shopping experience without the chaos of Black Friday. We take you to the 36th Annual International Peace Market next. Welcome back. While the hustle and bustle of the holidays kicked off on Black Friday, many were taking their time browsing local artists' goods at the Mercado de Paz this weekend. The 36th Annual International Peace Market was held at the Esperanza Peace and Justice Center. Organizers say it's a rallying of community spirit as we get into the holidays. And with prices as low as just a few bucks for some items, everyone can find the perfect gift.
A lot of parents also bring children because they can purchase something that they've saved their money, and there are things that even children can afford. So for the children, it's exciting because it's the first time they get to pick something.
The event had pieces from Hispanic and indigenous artists as well as from Turkey and Afghanistan. A significant water main break in Seguin has been repaired. The break affected homes and businesses at the intersection of Highway 123 and Court Street, including an H-E-B and the Kings Plaza Shopping Center. Now that we're wrapping up on Thanksgiving, it's time to talk Christmas. This week, December 3rd at 11 a.m., join KSAT Community Live for a town hall that could save you extra headaches this holiday season. KSAT's Stephanie Cerna and experts from RBFCU and the Better Business Bureau will be here to share how to protect yourself, recover from scams, and spot the most common holiday tricks. You can share your story at ksatcommunity.com, and your questions could be answered live in our town hall with all of those experts. As we talk about the holidays, have you taken part in any holiday shopping already?
Oh, I have already done about half of my holiday shopping.
Jeez.
There were no warm coats bought this year. There were no warm coats. Well, I did buy some coats for me, but it was much needed because I'm now indoors. It's a little chilly outside.
You said your legs were cold. She's wearing a dress.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, and it's always a good reminder that even if you might not think it's cold outside, it still might be a little chilly. I know you were going outside earlier in a jacket. A lot of people were bundled up. Right now, JP, we're still sitting in the 40s. 48 degrees is reported at the San Antonio airport, 43 in Kerrville, 44 in Comfort. So we are still sitting fairly comfortable. Now, this is our average temperature. We should be in the morning. But we still have a few more degrees to cool down tonight into tomorrow, and we're actually feeling a few degrees cooler. Now, as we get into the actual city of San Antonio, we're not really seeing too much of a temperature, wind chill temperature really, but as you go into the hill country near Los Maples, Comfort, Kerrville, they're feeling like they're in the 30s, and that's what our actual air temperature is supposed to be in the morning, not only tomorrow, but throughout the next few mornings as that wind, that northerly wind really allowed some of that cooler air to feed down into our neck of the woods. The winds have continued to calm down though, 15 miles an hour at the San Antonio airport right now, 20 as you go over to Nixon and Gonzales. But what we're watching is this is all because of that cold front that came through. Now, after that cold front came through last night into this morning, it's not only allowed that cooler air to feed in behind it, but also some snow near the Rockies and even heavier snow in the Great Lakes, some thunderstorms as you go to the East Coast. So a lot of airlines and airports earlier today have had issues with delays in flights. Now for us, we're not expecting any snow, but we are still expecting the cooler temperatures behind that cold front to really sit and really linger. Tomorrow, we will be waking up in the 40s, but our wind chill temperature is going to be even cooler. Still at just 9 a.m. We're still expecting to be feeling like we're in the low 40s. And by the time we get to Monday night and Tuesday morning, we're left with even cooler temperatures. Although our air temperature might be above freezing, it might not feel like it's above freezing. It might be feeling like it's below freezing. So keep that in mind as we go throughout the next few days. You might need to bundle up, especially tomorrow morning, waking up in the 40s. But one of the layers might need to have either an umbrella or a rain jacket because we're tracking that chance of rain. Now, the good news is it's only a 20 to 30% chance of rain throughout the day. But by the time we get to the evening, that sun starts to set and we go back into the temperatures being in the 40s. And if you're traveling tomorrow, if you didn't get traveling today, if you're traveling tomorrow, pay attention because as that cold front came through last night, areas in the Panhandle are waking up in the 20s and in the 30s tomorrow. And Amarillo even has a small chance of some snow. That's not the same for us. We're tracking some rain moving through areas of San Antonio, a heavier chance and a greater chance of rain for Houston towards Corpus. So they're expected their actual air temperature to be a little warmer in the 50s, maybe even near 60 degrees for some. But then that cold front really continues to push to the east, and we're left with some clear skies behind that cloud coverage, and that's also going to allow our temperatures waking up Tuesday morning to be as cool as they are because we're going to see those clear skies, and those clear skies allows our temperatures really to be waking up a little cooler. So Tuesday morning is going to be the coldest morning on the 7-day forecast, 38 degrees, although we're expected to get some clear skies Tuesday night and Tuesday afternoon, so it will allow us to be a little warmer. But we're still going to continue to have our morning temperatures in the 40s, even near 50 degrees by the time we get to next weekend for the marathon. We have to get through the rain chances, the 60-degree temperatures, and yet another week cold front.
Bundle up, keep the umbrella handy, as well as the KSAT Weather Authority app, because there's a lot going on in that 7-day forecast right there.
We'll keep you posted.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, Shelby. Looking over at basketball and hoops, the Spurs had a meeting with Santa Claus, a.k.a. Anthony Edwards, and he kind of gave it to him tonight.
That Sprite commercial.
It is a Sprite commercial.
Mind,
it is.
right?
Santa Claus. The holidays are here.
Yeah, the Spurs unfortunately shooting very poor from three-point land tonight and just couldn't find a rhythm in their game, in their identity tonight. The highlights coming up. Also, the Texans, they are coming for a playoff spot after that 0-3 start after the break.
This is my welcome to the league moment. I mean, we've been on the road for what, 9 days now. We about to go back for I don't know how long we about to go on for, but just, you know, the hardest thing for me is just packing, honestly. Packing enough clothes.
Dylan Harper is feeling the grind of his first NBA season in big board sports. Well, the Spurs hoping to capitalize on Minnesota's short rest, but San Antonio still without their French reinforcement. Rudy Gobert, I'm sure, is happy he doesn't have to oppose Victor Wembanyama tonight. First quarter, Anthony Edwards double teamed in the paint. Devin Vassell gets the steal and takes it coast to coast, up and under finish. The Spurs had an early lead, but the Wolves come right back. Jaden Daniels pickpocket, and he finishes on the other end. Minnesota now ahead by 2. Later in the frame, the rookie Dylan Harper goes right at Gobert, kisses off the backboard. What a move. Take another look. Harper is pure. Second quarter now, Dante DiVincenzo, a wide open look. He knocks down the 3, tie game. How about Keldon Johnson this season? Gritty player and so reliable off the bench. Nice bucket there. It was a 1-point game at the half.
Vassell trying to create space and does.
Devin Vassell is averaging 26 points in his last 3 outings. Vassell now attacking the rim to put the Spurs up by 7. Problem tonight for San Antonio is long-range shooting. They were a bleak 8 of 33 from 3 and generated only 7 second-chance opportunities. But the Spurs still ahead late in the third, as you saw Harper there creating his own shots. But San Antonio just 17 total assists tonight, and you know how detrimental that is to the Spurs game plan. Minnesota passing the rock effectively. Naz Reid with the splash, and the Spurs fall 125-112 in Minnesota. Here's Harper after the game on how he's feeling coming back from his calf injury.
I think just, like you just said, getting back in a rhythm, know where I need to be on the floor, and just, honestly, my teammates do a great job of just putting me in the right spots to win, and I just go out there, play my game, and I just try not to overthink it. But these games is definitely helping me getting back to myself.
Right, the Houston Texans are shaking up the AFC South after a huge and much-needed win over division rival Indianapolis. The Texans, with starting quarterback C.J. Stroud finally back in the fold, he completed 22 of 35 passes for 276 yards and an interception today, and leaned heavily on the run game to put up some numbers against the Colts. The Texans get the win 20-16 in Indy, setting up a very intriguing rematch later this season.
They're really good players making good plays, but when it came down to it in the crunch time, 3rd down, 4th down, that's where we were our best, and that's when we needed it, and that's what allowed us to be in the position we're in today, winning the game.
The type of team we have, I don't have to be Superman all the time, and I got to just do my job each and every play, and I'm not going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, and I trust myself. I know my teammates trust me.
Let's see how that other division game went. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars were out in Tennessee, hoping to better their chances of running the AFC South, and they did just that, beating Cam Ward and the Titans today 25-3. So here's an updated look at those standings after Week 13. The Jags on top, tied with Indianapolis with 8-4 records. Houston, a game back, only a game back at number 3 in the division, and Tennessee comfortable at number 4. All right, it's time now to introduce you to our Scholar Athlete of the Week, presented by Christus Children's.
Hi, my name is Taryn Finlerick. I'm from Floresville High School, and I'm this week's KSAT 12 Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Taryn is a 2-year member of varsity volleyball and varsity track, where she was named Academic All-District both years. She also made Academic All-State as a senior for volleyball. She's a 4-year member of the Future Farmers of America and made the state competition last year as a junior. She maintains a 4.0 GPA and is ranked in the top 8% of her class. Taryn plans to attend Texas State University, attend law school, and become a criminal justice lawyer. Thanks, Taryn, for being KSAT 12's Scholar Athlete of the Week, presented by Christus Children's.
Bravo, what a rock star.
Taryn, from the volleyball court to the court of law. Looking forward to seeing it happen.
Incredible.
Congratulations. Going back to the Texans, this AFC South showdown, or how things are going to shake out, it's going to get very interesting. So I think you mentioned we have to play the Colts again. I say we. I'm a Texans fan.
I was going to say, whoa there.
Sorry. We're going to play the Colts again. I think it's the last game of the season for us. A lot to look forward to.
It'll be hopefully it stays this interesting. A lot of football to be played before then, though.
As a fan, I hope we can pull away with it. But like I said, it'll be some good football.
Staying unbiased, you are.
Thanks, Mary. Do you ever wonder the origin of some South Texas slang? Still ahead, we give you a language lesson. And tomorrow is Cyber Monday, how you can shop the best deals. Coming up. Language, it's a fascinating topic. It's how we communicate. It's often how we know where people are from. It tells us about our culture. It also tells us a lot about San Antonio, which often boasts a unique language all its own. For this KSAT Explains, Justin Horn has a conversation about language, Spanish versus English, and why how you talk says a lot about you.
When I was younger, I had a southern drawl, a product of growing up in West Texas. I like to think I've lost that Texan drawl, at least a little bit, but that transition in language in general has always fascinated me. For instance, why do people in East Texas sound so different from those in West Texas?
So East Texas is a little more, oriented to the South, the Gulf South. So there are more southern sounds.
Dr. Bridget Trinka and Dr. Whitney Chappell know language inside and out. They also know San Antonio has a sound all its own, a true mix of Spanish, English, German, and perhaps not as Texan as the rest of the state.
It's kind of unique in the fact that it doesn't have so many southern features, because so many people have come here. The military, other professionals, and other people who have just moved here from various places around the United States and internationally.
We've got Spanish speakers who have been here for generations. We have new waves of immigration, which is renewing the Spanish that we have within the community. We also have Southern English that is represented. And of course, we also have lots of migration from within the United States, bringing different types of English, all in contact in the same city, creating a very unique linguistic landscape.
All of it subtle. We still use y'all and fixin' to, and because we all generally like each other.
There's this process called accommodation that's been studied, especially by communication specialists. And it's when you like someone, you move towards them, both your body language and your language.
That's true, but language evolution has been influenced in other ways.
Well, there's also another principle called the Founder's Principle.
The British were generally the first to establish what would become the United States government, which is why English became predominant.
So first one in, and the others will follow.
English took hold and spread as Europeans moved south and west.
Why aren't the indigenous languages still the language used on this continent? And it's kind of a sad response to that. There has been takeover.
Perhaps the idea of nation building has encouraged us to speak a single language.
But other cultures did influence English, which led to those different accents. It's the reason we don't sound British.
Why is the American sound kind of not doing the Pakyaka and Harvard Yard Boston sound? Why is it not doing the Georgia sound of the South so much?
That includes here in San Antonio, where we have a unique sound, unique terminology. For instance, words like puro. Still,
historically here in San Antonio, we have broadly speaking, privileged English over Spanish.
Which explains why, despite San Antonio's cultural makeup, English is still most widely used.
So maybe you grow up in a house where Spanish is spoken, but in society, in school, in the government, in really all other aspects of life, English has always been that historical expectation. So a lot of children say, okay, well, I see that English seems to have this privileged status over Spanish. I'm going to speak that. That's still the case today.
With some movement, however, towards dual language. Many elementary schools now offer that option. For those of Hispanic heritage, it also provides a way to explore their roots.
We also have to recognize that our roots are so important. If we feel like we are losing our roots, often there's a sense of shame that accompanies that loss. And you can see that in a lot of Spanish speakers here in San Antonio who feel like maybe they don't speak enough Spanish or they don't speak the right Spanish.
Some may call that Spanglish, which is another staple of San Antonio's vernacular and representative of the blending that's taken place. And keep in mind, many other languages are also spoken in our diverse city. No matter how you communicate, it makes for an interesting conversation. So I asked my GMSA colleagues about their backgrounds and how it's affected how they talk.
I was originally born and raised in El Paso, but predominantly English speaking because that's what my parents did. They sort of used English as their first language as a way to assimilate and to basically try and communicate along the border there. So I would say that part of myself learning Spanish would be directly from my grandparents.
I I grew up in Northeast Arkansas, Osceola to be exact, and I can't tell. Like, I know that the way I talk is not with a long drawl or something like the way I did hear some of my neighbors speaking.
Spanish was my first language. My parents are from El Salvador. I'm from El Salvador, so I grew up speaking Spanish.
I would say it's different because in El Paso, you generally have more of a traditional Spanish, with Juarez being right there across basically the street. No, San Antonio is a lot more Tex-Mex in my opinion. You have a variety of different cultures here as well.
I know when people are from like Central America, where I'm from, there's a little dialect, a sing-songy way in which we talk versus people from Mexico.
It's interesting now that things have changed to where now I'm pushing my daughter and she's in a dual language program.
And one of the reasons I stayed in San Antonio was because they offer the dual language programs, which I have not seen anywhere else.
Growing up in Arkansas, not being surrounded by a lot of, Hispanic names and stuff like that, when you come here, it's always, just out of respect, like, okay, hey, I see that's written one way, and I can say it the Americanized way, but what's more respectful?
Because some viewers see me and they expect me to say words a certain way, and I will pronounce the way a person wants their name pronounced.
Which it can be tough for my fellow anchors who sometimes get accused of underdoing or overdoing a pronunciation.
You have actual bilingual speakers who are what we call in linguistics, they're doing phonological switches. So they are speaking in English and then they switch their sound system into Spanish, right? When that happens, sometimes monolingual English speakers do not quite understand what is happening or why it is happening and may have a negative attitude towards it.
Speaking of negative attitudes, us old people tend to feel that way when it comes to slang, which has become more prevalent thanks to these things, internet and social media, having a huge impact on how a younger generation speaks. It's a vibe.
There's always this moral panic, right, from older generations that, oh my goodness, they're destroying the language, it's changing forever.
But before too much panic sets in, know that some slang words do work into the common vernacular when we're in our teens and 20s, but it doesn't last forever.
We tend to see age-graded shifts. Right around that particular age, there is a huge growth in the amount of slang that's employed, and then once you graduate from college and you enter the workforce, you see a very large reduction in the amount of slang that is used.
No need to panic if you can't understand your kids. All of it is proof that, again, the way we talk is constantly evolving. It makes for a fascinating topic of conversation in any language. For KSAT Explains, I'm meteorologist Justin Horn.
Very nicely done, Justin. If you want to learn more about our South Texas dialect and even see more KSAT Explains, just go to ksat.com or scan the QR code that's on your screen. We'll be right back. An 8-year-old man was found dead on a roadway on the city's south side. San Antonio police say they found the man yesterday morning at Vestal Place near South Sergeant Morris Street and Southwest Military Drive. A caller reported to SAPD that he saw a person lying face down in the street. How that man died is still unclear. SAPD says the investigation is ongoing. A 20-year-old woman died after losing control of her vehicle on Highway 90. The crash happened yesterday around 7 p.m. on Highway 90 near Loop 410. San Antonio police say the woman was speeding westbound before losing control of her vehicle, hitting a barrier. The woman was taken to the hospital where she later died. Cyber Monday is set to be a huge day for online shopping with deals just a click or even a tap away. Now, tech giants are taking it up a notch using AI to change how we shop online. Experts expect AI and online shopping agents to drive $73 billion in global sales. That's about 22% of all orders now through Cyber Monday. Plus, Google recently unveiled new AI shopping tools, including an AI agent that can call local stores to check product availability, prices, and deals. New research shows it's never too late to start exercising for your brain health. Studying over 4,000 people, researchers found that exercising in midlife can lower dementia risk by 41%, and starting late in life can lower it by 45%. But exercise in early adult life didn't seem to affect risk. The study didn't say exactly how much exercise you need, but the World Health Organization recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous activity each week. Especially around the holidays, there's so much food to go around with friends and family. It's probably good to try and get a little bit of a workout in.
Especially, GP, if you can do the exercises indoors, I'll say, over the next week or so, that would be the better option, especially if you don't like the cooler temperatures. You might want to stay inside, especially because tomorrow and the next few days are going to be similar to what we were today. Waking up in the 40s, some in the 30s, and having our peak temperature in the 50s and 60s. 64 degrees for us here in San Antonio today, and tomorrow we're still going to be a little cooler. 51 is our peak temperature, but not only that, today and tomorrow were the coolest days we've seen since February 22nd. That's over 280 days. And if you're traveling tomorrow, well, we're still tracking some rain, especially as you go into areas of Houston, and even some temperatures in the 30s as you go into the Panhandle. I'll time out your travel forecast and time out the rain. Plus, today's a specific day and an important day. I'll tell you why it's an important day coming up after the break.
And stick around because our Mary Rominger has been keeping up with all the games you might have missed this weekend, and you're not going to want to miss her play of the week. Welcome back. Your time 10:44 this evening, and it is cold outside, but you have an important weather announcement to make that you were teasing. I'm going to let you go ahead and give that announcement.
Yeah, so I was teasing that today was an important day. And I know I had to tell you, but today is the last day of hurricane season. Hurricane season goes from June 1st through November 30th. And I wanted to recap hurricane season so far. So in 2025, we had 13 different named storms, whether that be tropical storms to even hurricanes. 5 hurricanes, and 4 of them were major hurricanes. That includes Hurricane Melissa that did go through Jamaica. But we did have 1 storm make landfall here in the United States, but take a look at our average. Normally, we should see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. So we were still right on track, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, did forecast it perfectly. Now here's a look at the hurricanes and the tropical systems that actually came through in the 2025 season. We had Dexter, we had Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, which was that Category 5 hurricane. We even had Tropical Storm Barry that was in the Gulf, and with that, that's what allowed all that excess moisture to make its way to closer to San Antonio in July for the July 4th floods, but it did not make landfall in the United States. We only had 1 named storm make landfall, and that was Chantal in the Carolinas. And it wasn't even a hurricane. It was only a tropical storm. So we've only had 1 named storm the entire year make landfall in the United States. And we still had Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca. We still had so many more names to go, and we only got through the M's. But not only was it the end of hurricane season today, it's also the end of November, and we had plenty of 80s in the entire month of November. Our warmest, we had 2 89-degree days that both tied a record or beat a record, but we were also waking up in the 30s. 38 degrees was our coolest morning we've had with only less than half an inch of rain. So it just shows you that we're still sitting so dry, and we could use more rain, but any more rain we get is now going to be in the next month of December. We have rain tomorrow, and we're tracking more rain, especially on Thursday and Friday. Here's a look at the futurecast just going through tomorrow. It's going to be fairly light tonight into tomorrow. Some of the rain might not even make its way all the way to the ground. And I know this may look like a lot, but what we're watching is the heaviest rain to be mostly near the coastal plains. A few of them could make their way closer to the Alamo City, but the coastal plains going up to Houston near Beaumont, that's where we're tracking some heavier showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. And by about midday to even the afternoon, most of it should be on the other side of Houston in Beaumont, but there still could be a few cloud coverage before that finally pushes out of our neck of the woods, allowing still our temperatures to only get to 51 degrees being our peak temperature, and the rain chances, like I mentioned, by about 3 really start to taper off to that 20% chance before more rain returns on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the good news is, although we still have the rain chances, we are still in that drought, so any rain is good rain at this point. We're also getting a little bit of weather for everyone. If you like the cooler temperatures, You'll be waking up 38 to 46 degrees, peak temperatures in the 50s to even near 70 degrees next week. Some sunshine, some rain. It's a little bit of weather on the weather roller coaster for everyone.
I was going to say, buckle up for this weather roller coaster. Thanks for that, Shelby. Looking over at sports, everyone knows what Texas did on the gridiron against A&M on Black Friday, but the UT volleyball team also making some headlines.
Yes, today the NCAA Division I National Volleyball Selection Show, mouthful there. Texas comes in as a number 3 overall seed, and they get to host their region. More on the Longhorns coming up, and the BGC high school football postseason. It's on to the regional finals after the break. For the first time in 3 years, the Texas volleyball team is the number 1 seed in the NCAA Division I volleyball tournament. Because of this, the Longhorns are able to keep comfy at home until the Final Four if they were to stay in the tournament up to that point. They'll face Florida A&M, the Rattlers, on Friday, and the Aggies earned their spot as the 3rd seed in their region. Well, I'm sure Aggies fans are ready to move on, but the Texas Longhorns base, of course, are not. The Longhorns stole the show during rivalry week, coming from behind and outscoring the Aggies in the second half to beat Texas, to beat A&M 27-17. And whether the Aggies go on and win a natty or not, Longhorns fans will always have this to fall back on.
These are storybook stuff that we're talking about, but at the end of the day, to do something that hasn't been done around here since 1969 and 1970, sweeping all 3 of our rivals in back-to-back seasons, that's pretty historic stuff.
We've played a lot of good teams. We're only getting better, and if you let us in, we can beat anyone.
You heard it there from March. Check out the latest AP rankings. Texas Tech is up to number 5. They're 11-1. A&M falling down 4 spots after their loss to Texas to 7. Texas is ranked 14th, and UNT is in the top 25 at number 20. Okay, we've made it to the 4th round of the high school football playoffs, and by the looks of it, we still have a long road ahead for this greater San Antonio area. There are 8 teams still in the race for a ticket to Jerry World for a state title. Our sole state survivor last season was Smithson Valley, who told us it only gets tougher from here on out.
We knew it'd be a war, and it means a lot. Tough, hard-fought game, and you can't win every game 50-0. You got to have some that go down to the wire, and this one did.
I'm a senior, so it's my last year, so I'm very blessed to be going to another round, especially with this team. This team's basically my life and my family, and I love them to death. Especially in this part of the game, it's really, rarely any team left, so every opponent, they're going to bring it, we're going to bring it, and it's going to go down.
All right, can't wait. It's time now to hit the road with our Encino Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Play of the Week.
Play of the game for Las Vegas. Smith in his own end zone, taking a shot down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Coming over was Tony Jefferson. I think he was out of bounds, but he did catch it, and the officials are discussing it. Jefferson thinks he has an INT. And they are giving it to him.
Okay, talk about a roller coaster of emotions. Raiders, Chargers, both safety. Tony Jefferson with an insane interception, JP. Incredible play.
I thought he was about to do the Forrest Gump and run out of the stadium. He kept going to the back of the end zone there, but an amazing catch. Thanks for that, Mary. We'll be right back.